Hey guys, thanks for watching. Welcome back to a new video where I talk about how I bought a house at age 21. So what's funny is that I always worked very hard since I was very young. I had multiple jobs, but I never saved a euro. And when I had the chance to buy a house, that's what changed everything for me, because I had a clear purpose, a clear goal. I was able to save so much, and this helped me in so many ways. So buying this house gave me so many opportunities, but it wasn't easy. And that's why today I tell my story on how I bought my house and explain to you the process, and hopefully it will help you get your own house yourself. Let's dive into it. Step 1, start actively looking. I was looking online for a while but didn't really find anything, and then I saw a new build project in the city that I was living close to. So I signed up for the open day, the information day, and I went together with a friend. And it was a project with 77 apartments or houses, but many were out of my price range. So there was only really like 2 or 3 that I could apply for. And when we came there were more than 350 people alone to sign up or get information. So that was kind of intimidating. But anyways, I thought, why not? It was kind of fun just to see how it works. And how it works is that they will give you a paper to fill in where you put all your details, your contact details, but also your financial details, like how much savings do you have, how much are you earning. And I have to admit that I bluffed there a little bit, because how the process goes is they check all the filled in papers, and they check first who has the financials to be able to purchase. And then when there is more than 77, they will randomly pick one, and then you get lucky or not. And in this list you also filled in the preference. So I want apartment 1, I want apartment 5, and you put in the preference. And I put only 1, and that was the cheapest option out there, because I thought that was the only one I would be able to afford. Step 2 is take action. So like I said, I went to the information day, I put in the details, and then it was waiting. Then I got a call from the project manager that I was the lucky one who got the cheapest option as an option to buy. When I heard this, I was really happy. I didn't even think I would be picked, I didn't think I would have the financials, but of course I bluffed there a little bit. But yeah, I got lucky. But I only got lucky because I took action. And that's something that's really important, and I really want to emphasize on. That yes, I was lucky, but also I put myself out there, and I went there, I signed up, and they chose me. And of course I was lucky, because there was many people who wanted apartments, but I got chosen. But what I want to emphasize on is that if you don't sign up, if you don't show up, and you don't take action, you will never be picked. So I can understand for some people, it's sometimes difficult and frustrating when you don't get picked right away. But if you keep doing this, you keep signing up, eventually someone will take you and you will be able to buy a house. Step 3 is arrange the finances. Normally how it works with these projects is that they have an in-house mortgage advisor, and I made an appointment with them to go over my financials. So the first meeting was nice. That's a nice guy. He was really helpful, but he called my bluff quite early, because he said, "Oh, so you have this amount of savings." And then I kind of had to say, well, it's a little more complicated. My grandma wants to borrow me that money, but I don't really have it. And then he was kind of disappointed, because obviously that has a big influence on be able to buy the house, yes or no. And then he talked about my salary, and also there I said, well, it's a little more complicated. There's this bonus structure at my work, and I will be able to get this amount, but obviously bonus doesn't count only until you earned it. So it was more difficult than he thought in the beginning, but he was still hopeful, and he said, this is such a big chance, such a nice opportunity, and I want to help you out be able to get this opportunity. So that was really nice of him. And without him, I'm sure I wouldn't be able to get the house at all. So the mortgage advisor still believed in it, although it wasn't going to be easy, because I was alone. I didn't have such a high salary, I had no savings, and I needed to buy this house. And the thing is, you get 6 weeks to be able to get the finances in order. So I thought, let's just go for it and we'll see what happens. So the first thing I did was I called my bank and I asked about the options to get a mortgage. And on the phone they told me, okay, what is your situation? I explained my salary, I explained where I work, what I did. And they said, oh, okay, that sounds good. Let me plan in a meeting, come by to the office, and then we'll talk about it a little more. So I was happy, it sounded pretty good, sounded pretty positive. And then when I came there at the bank, the lady told me like in 5 minutes, oh no, this is not gonna happen, you earn too less, you are alone, you don't have the savings to be able to buy this house. So then I was quite disappointed, obviously, because the guy on the phone told me it looked pretty good and he thought I would get a mortgage. Step 4. Deal with setbacks and negative comments. So buying your first house is obviously not easy. It's a pretty hard thing to do actually. And especially after the crisis in 2008, banks and mortgage suppliers are not so happy to give out big mortgages. So yes, it's kind of difficult. And I had a lot of negative comments as well from friends or from colleagues that they say,
but you don't even have a permanent contract, you're so young, why are you gonna take this risk? And also like, what, you're gonna buy a house? You're so young, what are you talking about? You're never gonna be able to buy a house.
But to me, this was only more motivation to really go for it, because I thought if I can pull this off, I would be really proud of myself. So it was really a roller coaster going up and down. Like then they said it was possible, then it wasn't possible. Then I talked to my mortgage advisor again, and he said that he had, maybe there was an arrangement that could be made with the bank. And the arrangement is like a parent-kid kind of arrangement, where your parents, if they want to, they can sign also on the mortgage, and that means that if you are not able to make the payments, that they will go to your parents and they have to make the payments. And obviously my parents weren't thrilled about it, but I could talk to them and they wanted to really help me, so that really helped me out a lot. Step 5 is convince stakeholders. In this whole process I had to deal with different kind of stakeholders. One was my boss, my parents, but also the mortgage suppliers, the mortgage advisor. They were all playing a big part in me getting this mortgage, yes or no. First I had to convince my boss, because I didn't have a permanent contract. The mortgage supplier demands a letter of intent. And a letter of intent means that your employer signs off that they will give you a permanent contract in the future if you keep performing the way you do. And one thing that was really nice was that this way I could also negotiate with my employer a future raise, because the maximum amount you can borrow on your mortgage depends on how much you earn per year. And if you can negotiate with your employer that they will give you a raise in the future, then the bank will depend their calculations on what you will earn in the future. So that can help out get you an extra amount on the mortgage. The next stakeholders were my parents, because I was alone and I didn't earn so much. Even though I negotiated a future raise, it still wasn't enough to pay for the house. So I needed my parents to sign off on the mortgage so I could borrow more money, because then the mortgage supplier takes it as a less of a risk, because they think, okay, if you cannot pay, your parents will pay, so we allow you to borrow more. But I still couldn't borrow enough money. I was still short a significant amount of money, so I had to come up with another way. And that's when I had to convince my family to borrow me money. And of course that's not an easy task, because borrowing money always comes with a risk, and it was a big amount. And although I wouldn't spend it on stupid things like parties or a new car or something like that, it still is a big risk, and you also need to have money to be able to borrow it to someone. So I know not everyone is as lucky as me and could be in this position, but still, I had to convince them that they could trust me and that I would be reliable, because of course my parents didn't want to pay for my mortgage. So I knew if I would do this, I had to be 100% sure that it wouldn't cost them anything and that I would always be able to pay for my mortgage. And then the last stakeholder, convincing the mortgage supplier. And this is where my mortgage advisor really helped me out, because he really helped me build a strong case where my income would grow a lot and I would be able to pay for the mortgage. Step 6 is sign the papers. Eventually everything worked out and my mortgage request got approved and I got the money to buy the house. And I was so happy, I was so excited. It really was a big relief, and we really celebrated that. But on the other hand, it's also a really serious thing. It's not just something. You sign for a mortgage. It was almost 250,000 in debt. It's serious business, and you have to make the monthly payments. And of course, a new built house is nice, but it also comes with something that's not so nice, and that's that you already have to start paying for the mortgage. But you cannot live there, so I had to pay my rent and I also had to pay for the mortgage already. And it took more than 2 years before I was able to live in the apartment. Eventually I didn't even live there because I remodeled it and sold it right away for a profit. And I will make a video about this in the future as well, how that whole process worked and how much costs are involved in buying and selling a house. But it is a big thing. And I had to save drastically to be able to make the payments. After all was said and done, I had to sign the papers together with my parents, and then we could drink a lot of champagne. Without the help of my parents, without the help of my employer, and without the help of my mortgage advisor, I was never able to do this. But yeah, like I said, I'm really glad I did this, and I really hope you guys can also buy your own house and have a similar experience like me. So yeah guys, this was my video about how I bought a house at age 21. Like I said, it wasn't always easy, but it really worked out for me in the end, and I'm super glad that I had this opportunity, and I'm really glad with the help from my parents, my former employer, and my mortgage advisor. So I hope this gave you a little insight and that you can also find your own home to buy. If you like this video, please smash that like button for me. It really helps me out a lot. And also, if you want to learn more about buying houses, saving money, investing, please subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell. And I hope I see you in the next one. Have a great day.